I was going to go on about telling you that I've driven thousands of cars over the last 20 plus years of my career, and only on a handful of occasions was I so smitten with a car that I had to buy one, new or used. And right now, I am absolutely struggling with this 2021 Honda Civic Type R, because look, my friends, there can be no doubt, this is the greatest driving machine this side of a Porsche 718S and then some. This Honda Civic Type R is a drug, is what it is, and please heed my warning. If you are to test drive one of these cars, you will fall under its spell. Look, I still have a few days left with this car, and already I am suffering from withdrawal. It is affecting me so much that I am, and my wife too, I scored, definitely scored. We are looking at our savings, our meager savings, and thinking about taking a portion of them to buy a 2021 Honda Civic Type R. It is that strong an affliction. My senses, I can't be subjective about this car. I mean, I can only be subjective. I can't be objective. This car is, I've said it, it's one of the greatest driving apparatuses ever conceived, under $100,000 or give or take. Okay, it is the greatest, best, most prolific front-wheel drive car ever put on our mostly green and blue earth. Look, if you were just thinking about maybe buying one and you're not sure, just close YouTube right now, get off Motor Illustrated, and make a phone call to your local Honda dealership and hurry up. Because if you live in Canada, these things are running out fast. I don't even know. I'm struggling with being here telling you to buy one, and I'm hesitating to buy one. I really need one in my life. Anyway, we're gonna do a little walk around, and then I'm gonna go get lost somewhere in the countryside in this 2021 Honda Civic Type R. Now, I do like to kid around, but in this case I am deathly serious, because in Canada the Honda Civic Type R for 2021 started at $46,200. You can't even build it online. And if you were dreaming, as I was, of getting a limited edition, yes, that psycho lightweight Phoenix yellow superb example of the Civic Type R, which retailed for $54,600, well, all 100 examples that were available for pre-order were gone in 4 minutes. I was asleep at the wheel. But if you do live in the US and somehow have stumbled on my video of the Civic Type R, you can still build and get a 21 example, and it is priced from $37,895 for the regular one. And as far as I can tell, there are still limited edition models available, and they're priced at only, in the US, it's tragic, $43,995. Look, the limited edition is, I think there might be one or two hanging around somewhere in the province of Quebec, but I mean, for BBS wheels, fewer pounds, fewer pounds, because less sound deadening and all that, and Sport Cup 2 tires. I don't know. It's I lose all sense of reason with this. But if you are living in the U.S. and you want a Civic Type R, just get one. There's no possible way to regret your purchase. Standard with the Civic Type R for 21, 20-inch wheels as you see them there. This full Psycho Aero kit, top to bottom. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, 7-inch touchscreen display on the inside, LED lights, navigation, Alcantara, sports seats, and so on and so forth. I mean, there isn't really anything I can tell you about the styling. I mean, you can see it. It's not the prettiest thing, but the thing is that it's so functional, it's so efficient, it's so capable that spoiler could be somehow reversed, and the tailpipes could come out of the wheels, and the taillights could be on the roof, and it would not matter whatsoever. And where I struggle most is the fact that this car is actually, how beautiful, red Honda badges, real ones, is that this car is actually truly functional. Love this. There we go. All right, so that's the tunnel. Oh, there's the mask I lost. There's a trunk, 727 liters of boot space. A stroller fits in that. Okay, I'll put that back there. I don't need it right now. And I have 2 kids, if you've seen a few of my videos, and I have still baby seats, right? And this is a 4-seater. I don't care about the 5th passenger, and the baby seats will fit. They're not in there because, well, Daddy drives a little bit nuts when he's driving around in a Civic Type R. And so the seats, look, the red. What else do you need to know? Oh, it's got the Type R written in it. It's a Civic, so you get the highs and the lows that come with that. But oh God, these seats are so snug. Seriously, these seats are absolutely snug. They, like the last time you got to hug your mother before the lockdown, I love you, Mom, but this is a better embrace. Just start it up. See, this is what happens when Honda does Honda. There are gauges, which are never been truly beautiful or attractive per se, but doesn't matter. It's a 7-inch screen, hard buttons, so I mean that's not really important. The important things are right here. So there's 3 drive modes. Comfort. When you go down there, see, like you saw me move the toggle. So then when you go to the center, it's Sport. So Sport by default, essentially, and then there is R, or plus R, for true fun. There isn't much else to say. I mean, the shifter, look, the throws. 1, 2, 3. I mean, you get the picture, right? Short throws, excellent weight behind it. It's so great. And yes, the pedals, clutch pedal pressure is really good too. I mean, I'm losing all sense of reason and whatnot. You can see out of it, which matters, and you can't really see the spoiler because it kind of takes on the same shape as the rear view mirror. You know, when I'm done talking about what you see, it's time to go for a drive. You know what? I think you should completely ignore everything I'm saying about to say about how the Civic Type R drives, because I can't be, like I said, I can't be objective. It's just so good. It's one of the greatest driving cars. A little too much gravel. It's one of the greatest driving cars in the world. And I know I've said similar things about the Golf R. Now, be full warned, the road surface is about to get horrendous. Okay? But this thing has adaptive dampers, and the car is set in the comfort drive mode, as I showed you. And to be quite honest, the ride quality is beyond acceptable. And this just adds to the fact that this car is torturing me, because I could have my children in the back seat with the stroller in the trunk, set in comfort, and be perfectly comfortable driving around anywhere in this Honda Civic Type R. The only downside, tragedy, upsetting thing is that the dampers don't have individual settings. So the moment I go into Sport, which is the drive mode to be in, because just everything comes alive, unfortunately the dampers stiffen up and it just gets a little bit crashier. But even so, this is impressively good. I mean, it looks horrible on your screen right now, and I'm shaking about. The road is not quite done being horrible, so I'm going to go back into comfort. Is that incredible or what? Because this is a hardcore, track-focused, daily drivable super machine. Again, I've said this about the Golf R so many times, but the difference is that the Golf, okay, so it has a massive, that's a little bit better. has a massive advantage when driving conditions get bad, especially in winter. But I have tracked the Civic Type R and the Golf R both in the rain and on ideal summer, warm, dry conditions. And the fact of the matter is, the Civic is faster. It's more responsive. It's more alive in my hands. It's more focused in so many ways, on so many levels. All-wheel drive is definitely something that I find critical for any performance driving machine, but because of this brilliant helical limited slip differential up front, you can barely tell that this car is dragging its butt behind it everywhere. It is that good, that sorted. 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 306 horsepower, 6,500 RPM, 295 pound-feet of torque from 2,500 to 4,500 RPM. This thing is fast. It's alive. Like, if I was to use my usual scale, right, this thing will go from, even in comfort, like an 8.5 to a solid 10.5 out of 10. And the Golf R will start maybe, 8 or even 7.5, but it won't go all the way to 10. And it's between 9.5 and 10. Let's just say that this car just takes possession of your soul. The LSD is brilliant. You can feel it working. I mean, right now I'm just going through some small country towns. Sadly, the speed limit is low, and there's a fair amount of traffic. Future Classic, Chrysler Sebring. Anyway, I take that back. Maybe not, because this could be a Future Classic. I don't have a crystal ball, but anyway, that came out on its own. But the other thing is this car's steering. Now, to be frank, I'm not sure which review is going to come out first, the M5 or the Civic Type R, because I've driven these cars now back to back. And the M5 steering is a terrible mess. And then you compare it to a car that costs less than a third of what the M5 costs. I'm not even talking about options here, just a base Canadian M5 competition. Okay, so about a third. And this car's front end is so communicative, so in tune with me, with the driver. I give it a little bit of input, it just immediately responds. It makes no fuss. It doesn't battle. It doesn't think for you. It obeys. It obeys. I'm in the usual and not the usual scenario where when I drive a Golf R, I want to buy a Golf R. When I sit behind the wheel of a WRX STI, I want to buy a WRX STI. And when I'm behind a Civic Type R, the steering wheel, I want a Civic Type R. Just so you know, that's never happened to me in a Focus RS. Could not give many of those things about that car. Seriously, it's fast, but anyway. An Evo X, however, oh, I missed that car. That was a glorious automobile. But yeah, look. The bottom line, if you made it this far, thank you. Just go and buy a Civic Type R. Stop fooling about. You will love it.